Hello guys, it's Sally and Henry Clinic again. Today we are here with friends and family and we'll be talking about the topic deal breaker in relationship. Everybody will be giving their own point of view and also personal experience. Let's dive in and get into this topic. So I'll be asking my friend here what is her deal breaker in relationship, and also using personal experience to explain to the audience that this is what she thinks is deal breaker for her, and anything you can learn from there can catch up with us. Hi Precious.
Hi.
How are you? How you doing?
I'm good.
Say hi to the audience.
Hi.
So Precious, I would like to ask you to tell us what are your deal breakers in relationship using your previous experience, and can you tell us what you understand by deal breaker, and at the same time what are your experience?
Okay. First of all, for me, deal breaker is something that if it happens, I'm packing my load and I'm going peacefully, gingerly to ceremony. And I think that's cheating. I think it's something that, I cannot. I've seen people that they're in marriages that it's going on, but they decide that they'll just stay. They decide that they can't be able to deal with it and all that. And I always say to them, like, I salute you because I know that it's something that I wouldn't be able to. Why is that? Because I cannot trust you anymore. That's the thing. I know this thing that people say, oh, but things can be worked out and all of that. But for me, I feel like once it starts, it has started. One day it will happen again, and then another story would come. And then another time, story would come again. So for how long? So the moment it's happened, like, that's it for me.
Wow, that's a good one. And what do you think that constitutes cheating in a relationship?
For me, I don't think that's a good one. I'm sorry, that's not a good one at all. How can that be a good one when she's saying cheating is her deal breaker? So that means she claims to be she's married and she has too many children, and then all of a sudden, because her husband cheats, she wants to leave the marriage and disappear. No, that's not. I won't accept. That should be like, if you claim you want to be with a man for better, for worse, and he does one thing, which, let's say, for example, the man hasn't done anything for the last, ever been in marriage with you for, let's say, let's give a start. Let's say the man has been with you married for like 10 years. So he hasn't cheated at all. Then maybe he did one. And then you say it's a deal breaker, then you have to leave the children, leave the marriage and everything. Then, well, everyone has what is their deal breaker. For me,
So
I won't accept that as
so
a
that
deal breaker.
means
For me,
so that means, as
it-
you're saying, I shouldn't walk out for that reason.
Mhm.
If I was one that cheated,
Mhm.
you would forgive me and we would move on. And
that's why I said, that's why I said the question you asked, what's the deal breaker for you? That should be, are we speaking about when we are not married? Or are we speaking about when we are just having relationships? Because you said deal breaker in relationship. That's what I heard before I joined this, right? It's not in marriage. It's different. It has to be a different thing entirely. If it's a deal breaker in relationship, when you're just meeting someone, trying to know the person, know if it's someone you're going to spend long time life with and all those, there has to be deal breaker. But now you're not in a marriage, it's different.
So we're talking about deal breaker
In relationship.
in marriage.
No,
Marriage
you
is
said
a
relationship. This
It's
is
a
marriage.
relationship.
Marriage
Marriage is
is
a
a
relationship.
Yes, marriage is it, but in the context, being single, meeting a single lady, what is your deal breaker? That's where I'm seeing this your topic.
Let's go
But
through
if we are going into deal breaker in being in marriage,
in
being
marriage.
then that's a different thing. Then that's a topic to elaborate on. Then when you say deal breaker in marriage, are you speaking about? Okay, I understand what you mean by deal breaker in marriage, right? But what I heard earlier before was deal breaker in relationship, which brought me into this conversation because meeting a girl, trying to get someone that will spend the rest of my life with is different from I'm already with this person, married to this person. Now we are like in this, in quotes, marriage, in love, for better, for worse, like people will say it, and all that long. You know what I'm trying to say anyway, at the end of the day. So if you're talking about deal breaker in marriage, if that's your deal breaker, then I understand. But if it was a relationship, cheat. It depends on how you want to see the cheat
In
coming
fact,
from.
in relationship, I don't even have
Can I
any
ask-
reason
Yeah,
to
ask
break
question,
it.
yeah, ask
Like,
question.
question. You reacted. You said if let's say she's married, she have children.
Yes.
She's married, she have children, and
Yeah.
the man did it once and
Yeah.
then she back out.
Yeah, because that was the statement he made. You were saying it not based on relationship.
No,
You
I
said
was saying it based
in
on- no,
marriage,
I feel like
kids, she shouldn't be working.
For me, I
hard
feel like
to
that shouldn't be. Anyway, it's her own side. But my deal breaker shouldn't be because she cheated. It should be. We need to put this context in terms of the cheating. Is it serious cheating? Because if it's just someone did something once, right? I still believe
We're
yes.
talking about cheating. Fuck.
Yes.
I wanted to get my own point across as regards to this deal breaker. So for me, what I know is that whatever is a deal breaker in a relationship is the same thing that should be a deal breaker in a marriage. In my own opinion, if I can't take this in a relationship, there's no way it's getting to marriage.
Okay.
So you saying that a deal breaker in relationship is different from a deal breaker in marriage. It's not.
No,
it
I'm
doesn't
not
make
saying
any
no.
sense.
That's why I say you guys are missing the point. I'm not saying it's different. What I'm trying to say is that when you're in a relationship, like you're just doing a boyfriend and girlfriend thing, it's totally different in terms of your deal breaker should be what you set up, and that's what's going to lead in your marriage. Now, but when you're not in the like, for example, cheating and the rest of them, right? Cheating, let's say communication, let's say lying, let's say trust, and all those things. Those are good because you're in a relationship. You're trying to make sure these are your deal breaker. These are things you don't want to happen. So that when you're in your marriage, it has to be like these are like do and don'ts. You get my point? If we're going to this marriage, we're going to this long time marriage and building family together. I don't want to say this, but now you're now in that marriage. Let's say you've been in the marriage for let's say 10 years. That has been all those your deal breakers have never come up. Let's say it hasn't come up at all. And now this person it depends on. For me, it depends on how you rate your deal breakers because it has to be in a category. What is your number one? What should be like this one? If it didn't be number one, boom, if it happen, man, it didn't happen for me and you. Do you get my point? Now, for me, in a marriage, I feel like my infidelity, I feel like intimacy. These are like things in marriage. But in relationship, for me, it's a totally different thing because intimacy, I can get it anyway.
So, like I said,
you get my point? That's why I said it's different
It
for
shouldn't
me.
be different things. It shouldn't be different. You see, that when we talk about deal breakers,
Yes.
we're not talking about things that you can compromise on. So there are two different things.
Yes.
Right. There's something that you like. Okay, with this deal breaker for me is like, okay, if you do this, that's the end of the relationship.
Yes.
It's not going any
Yes.
further. That's a deal breaker.
Okay.
There are things that I can say, okay, with this, I most probably might
Okay,
Give me an example of the one. Let's say if this happens when you're in a relationship, that not being married, then that you can say, okay, this one, if it happens, I won't continue with this relationship.
Well, so for me, I'm very family oriented. I came from a very loving family,
Good.
right? So if I'm in a relationship and it's looking like my partner is trying to cut me off my family or trying to make comments that sounds like, because one thing about relationship, people say things that you tend to overlook,
yes.
and eventually when you are in that marriage, they start to tell you that, oh, we've had this conversation before, or I said it to you before, you didn't react, then why are you reacting about it now?
Good.
So if I'm in a relationship and the person is making comments about my family, or they are making it look as if my family is disturbing, or my family is always, or I'm always on talking to my family. So there are some comments that he's making, I'm sensing it like, if I get married to this person, my family might obviously not come and visit, or I will not be free to go visit my family. There's no point being in that relationship.
Thank you.
So that's a deal breaker for me.
Okay.
So you will not tell me that I see all of this red flag and then go into the marriage. And then
That is why this is my point.
Deal breaker has to it starts.
That
from
is
the
why I
relationship.
said. That's why I said the reason I came into this conversation is because he said deal breaker in a relationship. Right? Now, I understand marriage is a relationship, but in context, when we hear deal breaker in a relationship, no one is thinking about in a marriage. We're just thinking about boyfriend and girlfriend.
Well, it leads to marriage too.
Yes, it leads to marriage,
because
but
you want to be in a relationship that will eventually lead to marriage.
thank you. That's why I said. That's why I said the context of how I understood the conversation, the topic of the day is about deal breaker in relationship. Now I understand marriage is a relationship. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying. If I ask anybody, and I'm sure if you make a vote and say, what do you understand by the deal breaker in relationship, their mind won't even go marriage first. They will be thinking about when you first meet girl newly, waiting be your deal breaker, waiting this way. Say this one, if you do one, woman do one, and then they follow. If I do this one for woman, woman no go. You get my point?
Yeah.
This is where the whole point starts. Now, but when you're not in a marriage, what I'm trying to say now, when you're not in a marriage, you've already had your deal breaker set, right?
Yeah.
Now we've moved to marriage. Now you've been in this marriage, let's say, let me not go 10 years. I was just putting that, but let's say you've been in this marriage for 5 years. No, all your deal breaker has never been like it has never been broken. Get me wrong, it has never been broken. This guy has been super nice, everything has been going fine. Let's say, I don't know how you categorize your deal breaker. Everyone has their number one, number two, and their last.
Yeah.
They can tolerate, right? Let's imagine you're not in this marriage for 5 years. This all your deal breaker never have. Now inside this your deal breaker, I don't know which one is your number one or which one is your last. Let's say your number one can't happen, and you are in love with this man. Everything has been happy. You have a child with this man. Everything just because of that one deal breaker. You said, okay, this is your deal breaker. They don't break up.
So
Take
that's
a family.
why it's called a deal breaker.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yes, I get
Because
it.
in relationship, you want to be having all these conversations.
Thank
as well.
you.
When you are in a relationship, you want to be saying, okay,
You guys can say, me
what
what
can
how
I
to talk.
what can I do, or what would I do that will make you walk away? All these are conversations to be had.
Yes, yes.
You know, in relationship before it leads to marriage.
Yes.
Now, if you're saying that in marriage, because it has never happened before, then you make one mistake. If I'm tolerating it, I'm giving you extra hands to always do it and come back to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is why I said,
Yes.
which is why
Yes.
I made a statement when I said my own. Then I said, if I accept the sorry, one way or the other, it could happen again, and then I'll be expected to accept the sorry because once something happens, it's given that room to now start happening. It's just like when they say when a man hits a woman, that kind of thing. One day it could happen again because it has started happening. So that's why it's called a deal breaker. The moment you do it, it's like, okay, no, that's it. Like you've actually.
So let's take, for
crossed the line.
example, you mentioned yours is for you cannot tolerate it, that puts you off, that breaks the trust. And he also gave example, for example, if a man you've been with for 10 years, have children, all of a sudden something happened, and that never happened in the history of that relationship, but this happened, will you just run away? What will you do in this kind of case?
If I would leave, yes, I would leave. Because, to be very honest, marriage, I'm going to be speaking from marriage angle. Marriage can be like this. That's why there is room for communication, right? If I'm doing something that is not right or something that is maybe turning you away, let's keep talking. Let's find ways to work on ourselves. That kind of thing. Not that you're probably going to now start giving that barrier and all of those things, and going to also talk from Christian perspective and giving the enemy to actually come in, right? And then one day something happens outside, and then probably one of the excuses you might give is, oh, but it's because I've been doing this, I've been doing that. Did you try talking to me about it? Did you try communicating with me about it? Did we try fixing it? Like, what happened? If you're saying, oh, you didn't plan for it to happen, oh, you were with this person and then it happened, but you know fully well that, oh, with an opposite sex, this kind of thing can actually happen. Why did you not try to remove yourself from that situation before it got to that point? Because somebody will not just come and throw themselves on you. It's a stage-by-stage process.
Exactly.
So that means before it got to that really point, your senses should have told you, like, man, let me start removing myself from this environment. But you allowed it to happen.
So are you saying that the person is supposed to build a barrier?
There should be boundaries.
Boundary?
Yeah, there should be boundaries.
And because the person failed to build the boundary, that's why it happened.
Well,
Even though it's that one's-
one thing about cheating, it doesn't just start with the act of having sex.
Okay.
It's giving a chance to have communications that are not supposed to be had. Because when you start to give another person attention more than the wife or your wife at home or your partner at home or your whoever you are with at home, right, then you are giving opportunity for that. And then the next thing, you are meeting up, because it did not just happen on the streets, you are meeting up in closed doors, you are meeting up, so everything is premeditated. So it's different
kind of
steps.
like leading on.
When you are already leading on those things, you already already have it in your mindset that you're going to cheat. Whether you went to that house saying, oh, okay, if it wants to happen, I will just walk away. Trust me, you have it in your mindset that you're going to cheat because you know you're already having communications that are already feeling like you are more comfortable to this person than the person you have at home. So when you start to get to conversations that are looking like, oh, I'm getting too comfortable with this person more than the person I have at home, at this point I have to cut it. I have to give a boundary. If you start to do that, then that cheating will not come in.
So that's why I still say again, right? A boyfriend and girlfriend deal breakers. Yes, like I said, I still go back to my point. When you're married, right? Now, to me, what are my deal breakers as I'm married like this? I will tell you one, intimacy. I will tell you one, communication, infidelity. These are like things that if I'm with my wife, we're married for so many years. This is, let's say, no child. You get my point? Let's imagine I didn't have a child for the last 5 years. We don't even know what's going on. Let's say 10 years, we're still in no child. You start questioning what's going on. Is it your fault? Is it from my side or is it from the lady's side? Now, if you go to doctor and doctor do their normal diagnosis and do everything, and they realize that, brother, you're not the problem. They not check your wife. Madam, you are the problem. Maybe madam don't go do something somewhere. That made you move. Now I can't deal with me. Now I'm in love with this woman, but then again, I need to have my own offspring. You get my point? Now we have all these people who say you have what's it called? Doctor, help me here. IVF and all those. Doctor, yeah, doctor. No, I don't go adopt. Me, I don't go adopt anyway. I go, so we don't even go that side. If I didn't marry, then I don't adopt. So I will adopt when I don't first born my own. But say, man, I go first be my first.
But you should have the conversation with your partner.
No, like I would say I would like adopt, but for me, I would like to be my first husband. Gotta be me first, don't first bring out one for this. Is just me. Anybody can have his own preference of what they want to do, right? But for me, I would be like say, me, I want first, get my own first. So then adoption can go. Maybe me and my partner decide say, do you think we should do this?
So, but you just said you are your partner. That's a communication.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You have to have communication.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That's why I said.
Just go up on your own. Go and
bro,
ask
what is your
somebody and spring up a chat from nowhere and say, oh, because you know you were the problem, so that's why.
No, of course, no, of course. That's the thing. But I'm just telling you, like, these are kind of things that will be my deal breaker in a marriage, not mid marriage. Thank God, they're all, you know, they for my, they're all the water finish.
The deal breaker in a relationship is still the same thing as a deal breaker.
Yes.
Because there is no how it's going to change.
Yeah.
Okay.
If, for example, one person cheats in a marriage, obviously you can definitely, if it's a deal breaker, then obviously you are meant to work out. Because if you could work out in the relationship, then there is nothing that is making you stay in the marriage.
I feel like it's different. When you are married for
do
you know what I'm saying?
The problem is if you're going to say because we have kids, so let's try to make it work.
No, I feel like
that's not the reason.
No, it's not even about the kids. No, it's not even about the kids. Kids are part of it, but I feel like being with do you know I'm using 10 years? Yeah. Bro, 10 years, a child who is 10 years old, man, that child knows a lot.
Yeah.
A 10-year-old girl or boy knows a lot.
Yes.
So, bro, being with someone for 10 years, right? And this person has been in love with you, everything has been fine, which, don't get me wrong, in quotes, marriage is not bad, but being with someone for 10 years, man, I give you car. It's not easy. In all these struggles and everything, you have kids as well. Then, maybe inside your 11th year marriage, a deal breaker was broken. And you say because of it depends on where you put your deal breaker.
It doesn't matter how long.
For me,
it does not matter how long.
I see his point. That's a very clear point.
It's
you know why it's a very clear point.
But the truth is this: you've been together for 10 years does not matter. As long as that
point.
In as much as it's a deal breaker, he's making a point.
It happens once. Now you say you edge. That means let's try and see how it works. Except something actually changes, but now you've given that person opportunity. So, anything could happen. They could cheat again.
Can I make my
But what's the reason behind?
What means that if they cheat again, then it means let's still see how it works. And they keep cheating. No, if it happened once, you just it's a deal breaker. If it happens once, it happens.
But there has to be a reason for that. Being a man make me understand all this thing. Any man which is why you see.
Can I make a
Go
point?
ahead.
So first of all, is if a cheating happen in a relationship. And you say you don't test them outside. When you were single, have you tested outside before? Before you get married, how many man or how many women did you test? So first of all, when you come here, you come to a place of covenant. Coming to a place of covenant in as much as covenant is broken, it can be amended in the presence of God. Talking about biblical here. If you go wrong, you can come with a contrite heart, a broken spirit, and you can be forgiven, and God can still make a relationship with you.
Yes.
Now, in a human being, if you've invested 10 years in a relationship, all right, and something happened. Now, when we talk about, for example, cheating, first thing we need to talk about is what caused these things happen. First of all, is the man giving the woman enough sex? 1 second.
I commented about that.
Is the
thing you're saying.
1 second. Is the man giving the woman enough sex?
Look,
I'm hitting my point.
All right.
Are they having intimacy as all once in a while, and this person also have close associates who they gist? He has kept that particular distance, but he's not getting enough. Another thing. Are you the kind of person that do hangover? These are where these things come from. Hangover, you finish drinking, the next thing you say, out of drunkenness, this happened.
Yeah.
Are you also a type that doesn't build boundary? What do you know is that can cause you to actually what's the situation? Situation here might be like you cannot control yourself when you're in a room with opposite sex. Most especially like opposite sex, real opposite sex. And you know that both of you stay in that house for complete 1 year, one day. Something might go wrong. Most especially when the person is gummy, you know, that kind of thing. And you are not putting the boundary. Are you also a woman that's flatter when people flatter you like this, get to your head?
Yeah.
Those things can make things go wrong.
I see your point. Those things can make anybody like do anything outside of marriage.
So what you can do is to try to fix the problem first.
That's why you don't allow yourself to get into that deal breaker.
That was why I made the statement when I was talking. That's why I said all these things you're saying is like people
like
doing
for
years.
example,
When I said my deal breaker,
like for
I
example, when
said
you gave
before
the
it happened, like you talked about intimacy.
Yeah.
Did you communicate with me? Did we try to find solution to it?
That's
Okay, let me use for example.
Some people communicate, but they don't.
Let me use for example.
If we say for example now, like let's say okay, are you having enough sex? If you know it's not working, it is easier to still decide, okay, it's not working, let's just end this marriage.
Than doing that
Than
to the
for you to
person.
then decide, okay, because.
But do you prefer to a man? Do you prefer to a man to leave the marriage? Just hear what you guys say.
No, it makes more sense.
The reason why some marriages, the reason why some people suffer in marriages is because they are thinking, oh, we are married,
like this woman
so
is
we've
not
been together for about 10 years.
It will be painful.
No, if it's not working, let's step out of
it.
it than cheating. Because if we give that's just giving room to cheating, and we say, oh, let's give
and
this.
then you now come and say
there's
sorry.
never an excuse for cheating.
Never an
There's
excuse.
never
And then your reason for cheating is because you're not
whether you are hungover, there is still not a
drunkenness
reason.
is never a reason.
Because anybody that tells you that they're drunk,
You know, you guys are very. I feel like you guys are missing all this word.
No.
Cheating is for me. If a woman cheat for me, right? If a woman cheat, I get like. I'm saying like let's say boyfriend and girlfriend level, right? Woman cheats. We never marry yet, bro. We don't really talk about wait now. We don't really talk about our debate. I should do one. My dear, now if I go find my way, you get my point. Either I go to my own or I just end the marriage. End the marriage relationship. But now with me, I don't marry. Me where I don't marry like this. I feel like say my deal breaker when I still be younger and girlfriend, right? It a bit different now because
God bless you.
it a bit different now. This is just me.
Now
That's why I
you made
said.
some point.
Yeah.
Now I also one of my deal breaker is you talk down on me or talk to me anyhow.
Exactly.
If you do that,
But imagine saying they married.
see-
No
you
man
see
will talk
fire
down
coming
on
out of
you.
my
No,
head.
even talk down on you, talk up on you.
No, there is this is deal breaker, and let's be clear about what a deal breaker is. Something that breaks the deal.
Yes.
It's not something
feel
that
like-
I don't like.
Yes.
There is something like I
So
don't like.
that's why I
something
said,
that
what
me,
are
I
we
don't-
rating
it's
as your
fine.
deal breaker?
But
What
a
are we
deal
putting
breaker
on the
is
door?
something that it happens, the deal is off.
But that's your opinion.
Exactly.
That's his deal breaker. That's his deal breaker. Say person talk about that. Like they do again. Which one they say deal breaker be
Okay.
did that? No.
Okay.
Deal
Now,
breaker
no,
did that now.
let's go.
So as you're
So
married-
if that one,
that's
you're married.
that's where I'm going now. Now
That's
you
his
see
deal
that
breaker. Deal
particular
breaker is your deal breaker.
thing.
yeah,
You talk to me anyhow,
yeah.
or you talk down on me, I'm off the roof. As I'm married, those things have reduced. I learned to tolerate.
So those are things. To me, I won't say this.
I won't say
that.
deal
I would say
breaker.
it's something
It's
that
something
you
you
could
can
have
compromise.
Why won't it be his deal breaker? Because it's always
See,
his
let me explain something. See, you know when people are getting into relationship, they'll say, "Oh, what are your red flags and all those things." A deal breaker, like a deal breaker is something that even relationship, even marriage, or more, as you cross this line,
It's just like
that's it.
let's say
We're not
for
gonna-
example,
it's just like let's say man
Domestic
when they beat woman.
Exactly, domestic.
Like the day you raise your hand on me,
it's
forget
see,
it. And
I
but
don't
that's
want
a
to
deal.
see
There is
Yeah.
something that is compromised. I don't
no,
get it.
actually, to an extent, what you said can
I
can
can
very
under-
well be
I
equivalent
can
to a man.
understand.
No,
I
if
can
a man
understand. No,
is
see,
because
I understand.
physically
No, I
a man
understand
is
what
stronger
he's
than a
saying.
woman.
See what
right?
I'm saying?
So,
I understand what he's saying.
yeah.
Like, oh, now it's reducing and all that, but still, it's not exactly a deal breaker because if you're able to like reduce. Deal breaker and that kind of thing where we say
Only
even
if you know
whether
how many
na
deals have break
relationship-
because of that.
No, because the deal breaker is kind of like even whether in a relationship, whether in a marriage,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
once you don't cross this line,
yes.
like we're not coming back again. Once you cross that, it's just like for example, what these people when they do rituals and all of that, they'll be like, oh boy, if you enter, you don't enter, oh, like no coming back. It's kind of like once you've crossed this line, we're done.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing is always so very sensitive and serious that it's the same always in marriage and even relationship because it's a line that other things you can overlook it, but that slight thing once it's done, no, forget it. No matter what anybody is saying to you, you're like, nah, I've overlooked every other thing. But
Okay,
this
see
one,
now.
I cannot.
Sorry to cut you guys short. Now I just checked online now, right? They say what is a deal breaker in a relationship, right? They said in a relationship, a deal breaker is a specific behavior or belief or value that is so fundamentally incompatible with your own or that would cause you to end the relationship.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Now that's why I
End
said
the relationship.
everybody has his own deal breaker. It's what you rate as number one and what you rate as your number 10 is your deal breaker. I don't think your deal breaker should be my deal breaker.
No, of course, my deal breaker can never be cannot be.
We can
your
have
deal breaker.
similar
We can
deal
have
breakers,
similar,
yeah? But it
then
depends on which
again,
one we put one and which one we
there
put
are
last.
some you can compromise on. There's some I cannot
Let's talk
compromise
about
on.
what Tony
So-
is saying. Tony is saying that in relationship, cheating, in marriage,
Mm-hmm.
cheating can be a deal breaker, but it can be compromised. It's something
That's
that
where I'm going
a man
with
and a
that.
woman see, not only man cheat, not only men cheat.
Well, it can be compromised
No.
for you. It could be something that you have decided that you want to
the same way,
compromise
the
on.
same way we
Same
say
way.
everyone has their own deal breakers.
Yes.
It's the same way some people have different tolerance for different things.
Yeah, so you can tolerate it, but
maybe
maybe
someone
I
cheats
cannot
on him and
tolerate it.
in the marriage and he can feel like, you know what, because I'm married, I will walk around it. Not everybody can do that.
Exactly.
Some people, once it happens, it happened. They stick to that. This is my deal breaker. It's happened, the deal is off. It's just that simple. Some people can still tolerate because of the sake of this marriage, I will try. But in the end, when you tolerate, you're only giving room for it
For it to
again.
happen again.
That's just the truth. It doesn't matter what the person, and even if it doesn't happen again, that trust is broken.
Dropped. Yeah.
And for you to gain it back, as much as the other person would try, it's going to be very, very difficult.
Because this thing now
It's
you
always
said is what
difficult.
something I wanted to explain. I wanted to say, based on the example he's saying, think about the 10 years you've put and all of those things. Do you know I can decide to stay, but I can't look at you the same way again. I would always get irritated. I would always want to avoid you. Like, we can't really be intimate because
And that is
it's-
the difference
so
with women
before
and
you know
men.
it,
A
we're
woman
like,
sometimes
oh.
women can even stay, but if it's broken, they are there physically, but they are not
but
there.
emotionally they are
They
not
are no
there.
longer there with you emotionally.
So would you
They
pick
left you.
just being with
They are
somebody
with
like
you there,
that's like
but
a ghost, or would
it's
you
done,
rather?
It's done.
Because
For
that's
a
it
man,
for them.
it's
They might
different.
not just be there like you guys said when you
Just
were
for
staying
the
for the
kids
children.
and
Like
all,
they're just
yeah.
there, you are not doing official, like you are housemates. Okay, since let's just stay. See, for the amount of years that we've spent in this thing. Okay, let's just
And the
stay.
truth is
But
that
now
even
we're
for the
official. In
kids-
some cases,
even
okay.
for the kids, it's
sorry
not
to
the
make.
best
Sorry,
case
I'm
scenario.
going to use an example. I know somebody, right? Now she's like, let's say 31 years. Since secondary school, her her parents, they are all living in the same house, but the parents, they don't talk at all. So the parents are in their house just for the sake of the children and all of that. Father is living his life. Mother is living her life. They don't talk at all. Now, would you rather be in that kind of marriage like that? Like, I'm not even saying hi, hello. They don't talk. But they're in the same house.
1 second, if I may ask, in all this deal breaker, talking about Christian home, where does forgiveness come to? Where does, love of Christ come in if in a marriage you cannot forgive a deal breaker and still be normal?
There is a reason why even Jesus said other cases besides infidelity is okay with people. Say, like, you have to find a way to work it. But when he talked about infidelity, if the person wants to leave, he said it like it's okay to leave.
The Bible says if your right hand will cause you to sin, cut it off.
We have
So you are quoting the Bible wrong first in this particular statement.
No, because
I think you are getting it right.
No. What I meant by that is that if I'm with you as a child of God, I should be able to live a pure life. I shouldn't have bitterness in my heart. I can forgive you, but I might not be able to forget. Now we're both living in the same house. We're not really flowing like we should and all of that. We're calling ourselves husband and wife because I'm not able to let go because we're living together. Is it not best for me to preserve my trust in God, like my life as a believer, and just walk away separately than being in that house and committing sin? Because now I'm seeing you like an enemy, that kind of thing. But I don't have
is the person also going to be a Christian, or are you married to a pagan first and foremost? Because when you want to be asking about where does forgiveness get to play, where does he not know that?
Why are you making about his as if
where does the she?
Where does she don't make as if it's he, as if it's just only him. I feel like I don't feel like the thing just
because you know that because you were not that tacos of that.
The cheating thing is just messed up.
Okay, so where does the person that was where does the infidel person comes in to actually is the person that is infidel, is the person not a Christian as well? Is it not reading the same Bible that you want to use to preach to your partner to say, oh, remember the Bible says forgive? Did you not remember that the Bible says thou shalt not commit adultery?
Yes.
Did you not remember?
That's why I said,
can a cheating be a mistake?
Yes, it can be a mistake.
No, wait.
How can it be?
Wait.
I do not believe cheating is a mistake.
Yeah.
I do not believe it's a mistake.
Because it's always intentional.
Okay.
What do you think?
The one reason cheating is not a mistake is this. One reason cheating is never a mistake. It's no.
What scenario?
Let's give this reasons.
Cheating does not happen on the street.
It happens. It can happen on the
We
street.
don't just meet on the
It
street
can happen
and
on
then
the
mistakenly
street.
and
What is cheating? Sorry, Kenny, sorry. You come back to this.
No, let it finish.
No, you
I don't
come
want to come back
Have
to
a
it.
scenario so everybody talk about this.
No, tell me that story.
Henry, wait. You said it can happen.
Why are you attacking me now? Everyone just want to shoot me.
Wait, you said it can
Please
happen.
let the host answer us. Please tell
Let us
us.
like motos. Let us
I have a question. What is cheating to you?
I don't know. Let the host finish us.
No,
I will tell
wait,
you.
seriously,
I
what is
will tell
cheating
you cheating later. Let's please go. Tell us.
Before you
answer
ask that question, remember I had to interrupt Ken in what he was saying. I told him he will continue before he asked that question. But based on, he said, when you were asking the question, he said it can even happen on the street. So I want to understand what cheating means to him for it to happen on the street.
That's the scenario I want to. Can I give this?
Yes,
scenario?
give
So
us
he
scenario.
can answer
Okay,
us.
before you give the scenario, can you finish that thing you wanted to say?
My point is that cheating does not just happen on its own. There has to be a venue that it happens, which means that two people have to have somehow planned that let's meet here, meet here.
Yes.
If it's a venue that, for example, it's a cozy area like this, even if the person didn't plan, there is not really a plan. You might go there thinking, no, I'm not going to shit, but somewhere in your subconscious, you know something can happen. No, you might not even plan, but you know in your mind something might happen. And if you're not planning to cheat,
you will take
yourself away from that.
The fact that you can't even let your partner know that, oh, I went to secretly meet with this person at so place.
Just a scenario and then we round up.
Yes,
okay.
Please.
A scenario where a husband and wife is quarreling. The husband and the wife have serious issue. Somebody have to leave the house just to avoid getting physical. And let's say, for example, out of that anger, all right, the wife just leave the house, or the husband leave the house, and then call a friend who is like all of them are friends, like friends in the home, and then the friends
of opposite partner,
No,
sex, or
like friends.
let's
Like
okay
the friend you're calling is your opposite sex.
for a guy.
Yeah, don't say is your opposite sex. We'll understand.
Opposite sex, but they are friends. The husband knows the person, this one knows the person. So, and then this friend, just like when we're having arguments, just can you come and pick me up? The husband knows the person. It's not like
Or
it's
the
a
wife
stranger.
know the person.
Or the wife knows the person. And then she took him to the house. Out of pity, what happened? This one start crying and then they get close.
oh please.
One
All the
second.
stories. Please.
1 second, let me finish.
Let
Leave
him
those
finish.
drama.
Let him finish.
It's
Don't
still
worry.
planned.
Don't worry. Let
They,
him
they
finish.
get close and then something happened.
Leave Nigerian movies alone.
Oh, I want to sing Owame.
Leave Nigerian movies alone. What are you telling me? Are you kidding me? It just happened. It just happened. You are upset. You want to literally.
let's.
You are upset.
Let me give you
want to
that. Let me give
literally
you
do
that.
something.
No. Sorry,
Please.
let me put light to what Henry said. Hi, Kenny. Can you please come and pick me up? I'm angry and fighting and this and then Kenny takes me to his house. And then while I'm in Kenny's house, Kenny's telling me sorry. And then I'm
Don't
like,
cry. Don't cry.
then I'm
That's
not angry
like
like this.
like what Nigerian movie? is
Seriously.
No. Let me give you a different. Let me give you a different. Let me give you a different.
Yeah, should
Okay,
have
let me give you a
something
different scenario.
already.
Let me give you a different scenario. Man, give you something that's going to make it we like a movie too.
Yeah, okay.
Since you're all giving
Other
me
movie.
these scenarios.
Since you won't give us Owabe,
Let's make it.
So even who you're trying to support us, don't be supporting.
No, not
Because that is
No.
trying to tell you that it's a movie.
So imagine say,
Obviously,
just imagine this now, right? This man, they get this communication with his wife.
Okay.
I'm giving a scenario too now.
Another Nollywood.
And he dey tell the wife every time say one lash and all those things. Say one lash. He come tell him friend, say, man, this guy they go on from my house. So you married.
Say the wife.
And same thing, he say, the wife say, you want me say, me sometimes I just call hook up, you don't need call them, they do chat, say, go, Ashawo house, they in that place now. Now that they go come out engine, go come out the fuel and everything. So he telling me that this man I don't talk to his wife, do this thing. The wife don't give up for almost a month that the man on the day, no sex. And the man if you don't want to do one thing, he just want to go where to go. Come on the.
I have a very better
So
scenario.
yeah, that this man I can't go to that kind of thing. That wait, you not say this man never for once never cheat. But because a friend don't give him advice, say bro, this advice no I didn't give you. He say you don't say don't plan, I mean plan.
What is planned?
It doesn't plan.
Okay,
It
your
doesn't
friend gave you advice. You carry
that.
yourself. You plan
Yes,
yourself.
now
You carry
because
yourself. You went there.
the time don't come when the thing need to.
No, you are saying something. See,
no,
you
right.
see, what somebody speak to you just now
When they are angry.
might not make sense to you.
But
But see,
later-
when you are quiet,
That's the power of words. Yeah.
that words come to
Yeah,
you.
but
That's why
but
it's
then you still have to
planned.
plan it.
Exactly.
You have to think about
I
it.
plan to make my wife angry. I plan to make us angry. Say, I don't give me sense.
No,
But I'll go with that
the thing
shower.
is this,
Take me
right?
sense.
No, my
The
point is this,
conversation
right?
later, when you sit down and you are thinking about it, that's you planning in your head. Okay, so actually, I can really do this. I can actually just go and have sex, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
You
why am I
actually
even
plan
bothering
the
this
date. You
woman?
plan the date.
No, they
Okay,
plan the
okay.
day. Now, let
What
me
time
plan the
is
day.
it?
Let me plan the day.
Let's say, okay,
But
okay.
my point
I
is-
told my
Like
dad,
that day, you
what
have
are you-
that very serious
Argument. and
Argument.
fight.
Okay, I'll
But my
just go
point is
there.
this, right?
It's something you've already planned.
If you are in a marriage and for some reason one person is not giving sex to the other person, if you guys have discussed it and you have spoken to the lady and the lady's decided, like I think there was there was this particular one of these shows, this divorce court shows.
Yeah.
There was a guy who actually his wife was like, you know what, I'm not giving it to you. Go and get it anywhere you want, right? And the guy actually,
Went
I
to
think
get
I don't know
his-
if he did. I don't know if he did. I
I
can't
can't
remember.
remember.
Okay, let's say he did.
Let's say he did.
But
Let's
the
say
wife gave consent. To
Yeah.
me, that's consent.
Yeah, that is
So
consent.
that one is not
No,
cheating.
No, that is consent.
That's
What if the one said it when she was angry? Hey, go collect that from another woman. No problem. Hey, go collect that from another woman. So the man said, I said, I'll collect that. Okay, I will show you. I'll show you how to collect that.
That's
So
the thing.
is that
That's
not
the
a
thing.
problem?
My point
Is that
was
not
this.
consent?
My point was this. If it's
also
not,
a
if it's
consent.
not
Yeah,
working,
that is consent that
my
was
point
clear.
is this. If it's not
It's on
working,
duress,
it's not
man.
working. There's no point for us to now say, okay, because I want to be in the, like, what's the point of being
But
in
we
that
have
marriage?
this theory
No,
that
what's the
men,
point of
the
being in
when
the
men,
marriage?
when man gets it on a woman outside, he no love the woman, he love your wife. That's why, to me, I don't think he love your wife.
No. The point is this:
Mhm.
why are you in the why are we in a marriage? Why are we in a marriage when both of us cannot have sex together? So what else? Because let's be correct here. Intimacy always brings this kind of closeness,
Togetherness, yes.
Right. If there's no intimacy, it means that somehow possibly communication also is poor. It means you guys are possibly not doing things together well. So if you guys are not doing, what's the point of being in a relationship
Kenny,
then? What's the
do
point of
you
being in that
know,
marriage?
Kenny, 1 second.
Yeah.
Do you know that in this life, you can be talking to somebody about what you feel. You think the person is listening to you. The person is giving you all kind of answer to make you feel like that they are having communication, but not treating your request.
Then it means it's not working. If the person is listening to you and the person is giving you an answer, but
And
they're
in
not
that
doing,
case, if
they're
you
not
act
doing
in
the
that
things.
particular emotion of she's listening to you, but she's not even,
Wait,
her
so-
outcome is
Do
not
you-
showing that
Exactly.
Nah, this is
It
just
happens.
are you saying?
That's
Sorry,
the thing,
sorry,
yeah.
bro, sorry. You just said something that just hit my brain now. Wait, you said something about the woman is giving the man consent because now that cheating now is valid. Wait, he just play for my head because you know me play for my head before. She said consent because it just makes sense now. You just play for my head now because she said consent.
this
So that
particular-
means
this
so if you give
particular one-
consent,
no,
make the
no,
man go
see,
to her.
no, see this
Means it's not no
particular
longer
one.
your deal breaker anymore.
No,
But
this
do you-
particular
but do
one
you
was
know,
different.
like, but do you also know?
No,
that-
this is what I'm
for-
just coming
I
from.
think,
Wait,
I
you
think,
also
I
know
think
that
that's where you got
men
it
have
wrong.
to
It's not
be
everybody
accountable
that
for
cheating
themselves
is
as
deal
well.
breaker for.
That's why I said it's specific. To me,
Yeah,
being in
specific
marriage,
to-
cheating is
So
not my
she's
deal breaker.
saying it, maybe for that woman, cheating is not a deal breaker for her.
The
Well,
same thing I said earlier
for the
before.
longest,
But I mean, they should be here, that's it.
before I got married, cheating was not a deal breaker for
Okay.
me. Why I would say it is because of how I grew up.
Okay.
Things I've seen.
Yes.
You know how we always say, or there's always the same saying that men will cheat.
Yes,
So I've always
yes.
had that notion in
Exactly.
my head, right? So, but there are some people that have
No.
had it different and felt like, you know what, even though men will cheat, there are still faithful men out there.
Thank you.
So, right. So, for me, for the longest, like I said, I've not really thought, okay, there could be faithful men out there. I just felt
Thank
like,
you.
okay, men will cheat. So, for me personally,
This is
cheating
exactly
was
where
not
this
good.
is exactly
That's
where
why
my
it
start
is-
is coming from. That's exactly where I'm coming
It
from.
is different for different people, right?
That's why I said
So
it's
that's
specific.
like
When
I
they
said,
attack
for
me,
that-
for my own belief, when they attack me.
That's what I'm saying. So
Nobody
for
was
nobody was attacking me.
But
You
they
was
shoot me
attacking.
shots.
Right?
No, you
No,
attacked
you
me
were
first
attacking
in
the
my-
person that
in
said
my
that
belief.
that's
Yes.
her own.
How they attack you?
That
You
is her own
attacked me
deal
first.
breaker.
How they
You said-
attack her?
You
Yeah,
said
this
it
is
didn't make
attacking-
sense.
Yes.
That was how we
It
started.
makes
I said it don't
sense
make
to her.
sense.
Yes.
No, I say it don't make sense to me. Not to you.
No,
They attack you.
it makes
That's
sense
his
to her.
That's my point. I say it don't make
He
sense
said
to
we're
me.
attacking him, but he's the one that attacked
It's
him
not.
first.
It's not an
That's what
attack.
I'm
When I
saying.
say you
I
tell
want-
me
I
that
want-
doesn't
I
make
want you
sense
to
to
say
me. It's
something.
attacking me.
Yes.
It's an attack on the person's belief. As well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
my wife, I saw this.
So it makes sense to
You
her
can
that
say
that's
I
her
don't.
deal.
You can say I believe different. I believe something
Yeah,
different.
but
when
so,
you say
like I
it
said,
doesn't
Okay,
for
that's
me-
the word. My choice of word. Sorry.
This is
So,
what I'm-
yeah,
this is
so-
what I'm always telling you.
Sorry. My choice of
So
word.
there are some things literally I could say is my deal breaker, and she'll be like, "What is that?" I can compromise on stuff like that. Do you understand?
I understand.
So yeah,
I want to say something.
Say something.
everyone's deal breaker is different.
Different,
Now-
exactly.
For example, I'm an emotional person, right?
We see that you want to cry now. It's fine.
Duh. I'm a very emotional person, and I know that there are some people that are quite strong. They can be able to do, like, for example, Sally is more leave joke. She's actually more strong in most situations. Like, she can be able to chest some things. Me on the other hand, I'm quite soft, and I remember even back in those days, there are things that would happen to me, and then I'll probably like go to meet her because at that moment I am very vulnerable. I'm emotionally down. You get? So now, knowing full well that kind of thing would mess me up mentally, like it take me a lot to get back from it. I wouldn't be able to trust you again, no matter what, because every of your move, I will start suspecting it. If you tell me you're going here, in my head I'll be thinking, are you really?
So man, we
Hold
don't
on.
be with for 20 years.
Wait,
He
hold on.
do all those things.
Hold on.
You
now.
can't do
Hold on, let me explain something.
Sorry.
You're going to somewhere, I will start thinking, if you're sleeping, I'll be looking at, should I check your phone or should I not check your phone? Everything, I'll start suspecting. I won't live my life freely anymore. So would I want to remain in that kind of like situation? I want to give one example. When you said, there's a question you asked like about cheating, and then you were giving some scenarios. Now imagine this situation. You have a friend, right? And you know your partner to be someone that is very free, open-minded, right? He plays with people and all of that. But then you knew that this attention your partner is giving to your friend, you're not liking it. And as a woman, you know that for women, now small things they build up for us. We'll now start getting attracted to this person and all of that. For your partner, he's innocent. He's not seeing anything in all those things that he's doing. And your wife, his wife, you're seeing like this thing now. If he don't, they cross hand and all of those things, because cheating not be just I want to sleep with you. It's small.
There's a time if you sleep with the person, just I want to sleep with the person. Some cheating be like that now. You just beat one girl, there's a message, lash and chapter. I know that. It's not like
I
people
agree
travel.
with you.
You know me, yes.
It happens, yeah.
It
There
happens,
are people
man.
that are like just
Sharply,
crazy
sharp,
with them like
man.
that. Like, okay, what do you want?
Ah,
Like,
sharply.
okay, come on, let's
Let's
go.
go.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's happening
But
like that.
most times cheating is gradual because, and there are some that really one time they said, do you know that cheating is not just about fuck. There is cheating of the heart, there is cheating with conversation, there are different cheating.
Emotional cheating also.
Yeah, there is emotional cheating. So now you now start bonding more with this person instead of your wife, and your wife is already feeling that she's ignored, like she's all alone and all of those things. And then one day, that small thing, you as a man, if you dey vulnerable, one day way you dey down, and this person, if you don't know all your weak points, and that the way you dey down, she feel they use normal like, oh sorry, all those things and all of that, and then before you know it, you don't enter another thing, and that was your weak point at that moment. So that's why I was saying there are things you can do to avoid it getting to that point, because already your wife knows you that you're a very free person. Like that would be the last thing you would do. She can even vouch for you and swear for you. But when she was seeing things leading to that point, she was trying to like let you know that this thing you're doing with this person can lead to this thing and all of those things. But wait, you were ignoring those things, and then finally it now happened. Exactly what she was seeing going to that part, it now finally happened. And then you now come to her and you're like, you're really sorry it happened and all of those things. But it happened, and you gave room for it to happen.
Now, this is where men and women is different. Women, they know how to get into like men. They know the
A and Z,
A and Z to get there. Now, what happened is...
And men don't?
Wait, I'm coming.
Apparently that's what they're saying.
No,
Men
wait, I'm coming.
Some men do.
Okay. Just wait. Men do.
Okay.
Somebody told me, my mentor told me, he said, second Holy Spirit men have is their wife. Always listen to your wife. Now, sometimes, innocently, a man can see, oh, come on, like, he's a friend. All of us are friends. You understand that kind of thing? And you give room because of all of us are friends. You don't want to start creating. There are some rooms you don't want to create. Say all of us are friends, we are vibing. All of us are friends. Because you as a woman is the one that bring this person in and introduce it to be your close friend. And you see how this person is behaving. You didn't caution the person. You are the one that you brought the person into the house. You are the one in control of that. Don't just leave it for the man. You brought the person. If a woman enters my home, for example, my wife brings the woman. If anything is going wrong, she is the one to caution the woman to get out. If I bring the woman to the home, I'm not talking about strange, I'm talking about family, friends, whatever. If anything is going wrong, she will approach me. This has to end. But if this is from you, all right, you're in control. Everybody should be emotionally intelligent about this. Don't just leave it, I'm telling him.
Okay. in a situation where you've seen this, that okay, this thing is getting out of hand, though I'm the one that brought this person, and I'm trying to, okay, I've told you, like, see, I don't like how this thing is going, and I'm not trying to caution the person I've brought, and because you feel like now you are now so close to the person, or you feel like you are enjoying the conversation you are having with this person, you tend to now put me in a bad light, making it look like I'm just unnecessarily jealous, or I'm just unnecessarily emotional for no reason. Because it can happen. Sometimes men have this oversight.
But
you understand? Men have this oversight where they kind of like, oh, it's harmless, or kind of thing, or I'm just overreacting. Maybe I could just be like, babe, did you just notice what just happened? Or like, I'm trying to caution the person.
You know, when we said the man as well might not know any of that. For him, just like we say, if the person is a free person, and you're looking at this, the person might not also see that this other person is trying to do anything, because of that they are free spirit.
I get it, but when I've brought you to your knowledge, when I've come to you to tell you, like, see, this thing, I don't think this person is playing.
But do you know if the man is seeing it? Do you know if even the man knows? Because you might tell this man, say, ah man, this woman likes you. How would the man know if the man don't like you?
But that's why it's your wife that has. That's why your wife has.
Your wife speaking to me doesn't even make any sense. It makes your friend.
You say your wife makes sense. You just say your wife makes sense. It's not right.
It makes sense.
Your wife is seeing things. So if your wife has spoken to you, obviously your wife.
The reason I would say it makes sense is because
when she's spoken to you, now you should be
able
able
to. There's a reason I would say it makes sense is because that if your wife is insecure about it, just to satisfy her insecurity is why you'll be like, okay, I will take what you have said, just at least to satisfy the insecurity of the wife, not because of whether it makes sense.
But how do you take that thing that your wife said when clearly you're in a confined
solution to this? We need to bring a
it's different when the person is different, far from you, but when you're in a confined state, how do you try to? Just imagine, just picture this thing, right? We're in this house now, right? You're living with us. Just imagine you're living with us in this house, me and my wife. You're living with us. We're upstairs. We have our rooms and everything. And sometimes I'm coming down, I'm seeing the parlor. I'm going up, I'm seeing you. One way or the other, I might see you, or I might get a hi, or I might get to how are you doing today, or how was your work today, or how are you doing? And you told me, the way this lady is talking to you, don't like it. So the next day, the same day they get that, they say, don't like the way you're talking to me. You see the lady again. So because your wife have said this now to you, like, please, the way you're talking to this woman and the way this woman is talking, I don't like it. So what do you now do as a man? Okay, you try to avoid not talking to this person. This person will even get that, this person don't want. If what imagine one person asks, so we don't follow me, talk to them, waiting, everywhere good. Well, do you get my point? So, but that's really like
I get where you're
coming from. Yeah.
But let me also say something here. So yeah, you come downstairs, she's here and everything. You can just it doesn't stop you from saying hello and you walk back, not spending the whole time. Your wife is upstairs,
of course,
and then you sit down when you're watching TV, people are laughing.
The wife can stay upstairs where the friend is downstairs. Why?
Must wife stay with
no,
their friend?
Must wife
friend now?
No, must wife stay with friend? Like for example, imagine a Saturday.
Stranger to the house, you have to entertain the stranger.
Imagine I'm staying in the house, so the person has the free opportunity to be in the TV, to be in the parlor to watch TV. Like I could be in. Do you understand? So are you trying to now restrict the person's movement from the bedroom? It's just like as I came now, you're trying to tell me don't move from your bedroom because my husband is going to be downstairs watching TV.
So the solution to this is the man spend more time in your room
with the wife. Anyway, the wife is. That's what you should want.
No, it must not be.
That's
in your own room. It's in your own room. Spend more time in your room. Your matrimonial room. Spend more time there. The wife. Always create time for your friend. Entertain them and go meet your husband. When una want talk together, you and your wife come back and all of una gist, and both of una go upstairs, or you leave them go upstairs. That's the best thing.
The wife was not always entertain the friend in that case.
However,
so why should the husband then be the one entertaining her? If
no, that's what we're saying. Exactly. You should not be the one entertaining.
So, but imagine a situation whereby this is where you normally do all your like literally your living room is like your go-to. You woke up now. Your wife wants to find you anywhere. Nothing gonna be in the kitchen. It's gonna find you in the living room. So someone came. Because of someone came now, I should avoid the living room because your friend is there. I should avoid the living room. I shouldn't go. I should not go and stay on the bed with my wife. When living room is literally where I will do all my things.
So you
Everything
have
I do is where I should be in the
compromise,
downstairs.
so- So you have no place for compromise.
Depending
for
on
No,
things
it's not about
outside.
compromise. You
Depending on
compromise,
how-
but some there has to be
depending on
some
how
level.
long.
Exactly. How do you want to compromise that
Depending on how long.
compromisation?
You need to understand
It's literally they literally
Everybody
living
has
room.
a
You're going to
valid
see the
point,
person in
but
the living
depending
room.
on how long.
Normal
Compromise
human
can
beings when you
happen,
wake, when you
depending
stay,
on how
when you
long.
wake up. It's not
If,
your
for
bed.
example, I do
Is
all my
it
activities
your
at
bed?
home.
bed, yes.
Your bed. All
If I-
through the whole day.
Ask him. I still
Ah, that's
If
fine.
I
I
do
don't
all
know
my
what
activities at home, for example, Thursday, like that specific day I work from home, you understand? Those days, if I'm at home, all right, I have no much business in the parlor. I have everything in the office where I work in my house.
Exactly.
So in and out, that's all you will see me. You understand? The days I'm not at home, it's when I come back, hi. If I come back, I want to spend some time, cool my head in the parlor, eat food, or just go. But the thing is, let's be sincere, okay? Let's be honest. Anything you create, you have to find a way to fix it. I'm not being biased here. If her friend is coming to our house, I give them distance. However, I entertain them. I will be there, but one, two, I'm back to my room. If my friend, we actually don't have different friends anyway. That's the thing. You understand? And also some of our friends like Tony, like Precious now, they are like family. So anywhere you see yourself, find yourself.
Some of
just
our
stay
friends
there.
are actually like family members.
Yeah, so
they are-
we
what's
don't
Which
wrong
is
with
really
really
have
good.
friends.
Yeah, we
we
don't
We
don't
have like
friends.
a single friend.
So if
Even
they
my
stay
single
house
friends,
now
they
and their
don't come
business,
out,
anywhere you
they
see
just
yourself,
come,
lie down,
lay
that's
their
it.
hand, go.
So I just feel like okay, you're in your house. That's what I feel when they are around. You understand that kind of.
It's not that we are actually
It's part of
getting kind
it.
of. Is it part of it?
It's part of it actually because this can actually lead to a deal breaker too. It's part of what causes like the cheating and all those things. If you be saying person,
Now, why can
you
they
to the
try
house?
explain that? But
So, but
they don't understand where I'm
Yeah,
going.
we
I was
understand
saying,
you.
what I
Precious.
was trying to say is that cheating thing, that question you asked, I wanted to explain how it can actually like
Process.
start
Yeah.
small.
No,
Yeah.
you are right.
All this one people are talking about is not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that how the cheating thing can start. It can start from that small attention. Before you know it, it has gotten to
The
something
day it
else.
will even
That's why I
happen. The day
said
it will even
there is
happen.
even
it
cheating.
will not even be planned.
The day it will even happen, it will not be. It will
Yeah,
be a
because
surprise.
for example, I saw
Yeah,
but then
it
because
was
for
because
example, I
it's
saw
been
I saw
for
somebody
it.
that posted something, and in the post, the person said that her husband was cheating on her based on the fact that the husband now felt comfortable talking to his friend of everything going on in his
house.
life. No, not in the house, in his life. And that's his work colleague. You know this thing that people do, my office wife and my distant wife. So I think the person is like the husband's office wife kind of thing. But now she's feeling like he's cheating because that emotionally she feels like her husband is no longer connected to her because her husband is ready to spend all his time talking to the person online and all this.
You know,
And that's
Apart
cheating.
from blaming the
For me,
husband,
I
apart
don't
from
believe in the whole emotional cheating stuff because the man might be comfortable speaking with another person because possibly that person gives better insights, that person listens to them, and possibly the person might be able to bring a better maybe perspective to that particular situation. Sometimes it's not everything. It's not everything you speak with your spouse.
No, now
that will
that's
possibly-
wrong
that
because
will possibly
your
give
spouse,
you-
you and your spouse are
everything
one.
you
No,
speak,
no.
if
No,
you-
getting
depending
that
on
one,
the
you and
mood
your
of
spouse
conversation,
are- you're
depending
one.
on the mood of
You and
communication.
your
You
spouse
and your
are
spouse
one.
are
So
one.
you saying it's not
You and your
everything.
spouse are
No,
one.
you
No,
actually
it's not
saying it's
everything
not
you're
everything.
gonna- it's
So,
not everything
No, you
you're
don't
gonna
keep.
say
You don't
that you
keep
want.
things from your spouse.
That is
No.
that's what you say.
No,
You
you
don't
don't
keep things from your
All
spouse.
right,
No,
this
you don't.
section
But
has
no
come
matter
to an
what,
end.
there are going to be secrets. Not secrets exactly, but there are things that you might not just say.
Nah.
mention.
Nah. In marriage,
Yeah.
Danny, nah.
The truth
Nah.
No, it's your
Men-
own.
men-
What
men-
when man
men
hide
believe-
£10 for one black account? Never keep secret for your life.
Men believe that
The woman hides
it's
like
not
£20
everything.
for wallet.
It's not everything you tell a woman. Men believe that. But I had a life lesson one day. Life lesson. The day I was going for my driving test back in Ukraine, that date was scheduled for me. Ice was falling, ice, and then I entered the road. Getting to the place, my car slipped through to the tree. Thank God, nobody died.
Yeah, remember that story?
Thank God, nobody died.
Yeah.
When I came out of that, nothing happened to me. I asked myself, I always reflect. So if I had a secret, I had something I was hiding. Let's say, for example, in this case, let's say money. Or maybe one account I don't want anybody to know. And if I had, something had happened that time, what would have been the situation of that?
My point is not keeping secrets from your wife.
No, you
That's
said
not my point.
sometimes.
No. Look at no.
And
My
let me
point
even
is
say
not.
this
My
also.
point
The
is
one
not that
that
you should keep
he went to
secrets
open
from your
wallet,
wife.
like, no
My
password.
point is, for example, I could discuss something with my wife if I was married, and I could still discuss that same thing with somebody else. My wife might not always give me she will have a perspective. Another person will have their perspective.
That's where mental capacity comes in.
Not the point you
mental
said.
capacity
That's not the
comes
point
in.
you said, Kenny. Sorry, Henry. That's not the point you said. You said it's not everything you say to your partner.
My point
This
is not
the
about
point.
no.
That's what I'm saying.
When
No,
I said
you
so,
can't keep things.
when I said so, you guys took it in a place of keeping secrets. My point was not about keeping secret from your wife. My point is just, it's not everything that comes to your head. It's not every day I go out and I come back and I sit to my wife and say, okay, you know what, today after I left the home by 7 o'clock, I went here.
Is that what you
That's
No,
that's
no,
what
some
you
things
did.
something's happening.
No,
Something's
that's the
happening in your
because
day.
when I
You
come,
don't always have to-
I like, for example, when I come, I give him just like, this one happened, this one happened,
Yeah.
because
That is a
This
woman's
is-
thing.
It's
Women
not
have
a-
this
I don't
capacity.
think
No,
it's a woman's
it's a woman's thing.
No.
Yeah, it's not all men.
No.
No. Generally for
That's
men,
why
generally for
I would
men, it's
actually
not a thing
advocate
where a
for
man.
you. I will advocate for you to actually marry your friend. That's where it comes from. Because if you are comfortable with
that's
having
the person I should
conversation
be able
or
to
gisting
gist it
with,
first.
like, do you
If I
you
go
know
start
what?
gisting
Yeah,
with
you
any
cannot
other person,
gist
that's like my
Obviously,
gist partner.
obviously.
That's my gist partner, my
You
apropos
understand?
partner, my gossip
Exactly.
partner,
Obviously,
everything. Like,
but
it's my
my
go-to.
point
It-
is
that's why
this.
it's so funny.
My point is this, right?
Don't be cheating on them.
Everyone has different attachment styles. There are some people that even with their friends, he's my closest friend, but it's not everything about me he knows. But he's somebody that I probably know almost everything about him. It's not because I don't want to share. It's not because I'm afraid of sharing. It's just because I'm a kind of person that some things, it just stays with me. Not because I don't want to share with anyone, but it's just my
I will say something. Now that
But
Kenny has
everyone
brought
has
it up. It
everyone
used to
has
pain
different
me.
attachment style.
It used to-
Everyone has different attachment style in the sense that some people are free, some people can speak, some people just, it's not everything that comes to
No,
their
but
head, they're
no,
gonna
honestly,
always
I
just
feel like
share.
when it comes to marriage,
There are some things like I
No,
will
for
share with a
friendship,
different friend of
yes.
So
mine.
that's
agree.
also deal breaker. Is there a deal breaker for you?
No,
Because we are talking about deal
we're
breaker.
talking about deal breaker.
That's a deal breaker now. So
No, I was
this is
talking about emotional cheating.
no, he's talking about this is like a deal breaker for someone else.
No,
now
I was
to him
talking
now.
about the emotional
So
cheating.
to that music, do you prefer now? Let's say you're with a lady, right? And like you said, now not everything you share, and she's someone that like sharing everything, and you're not sharing things back to her, and she said, her deal breaker is the fact that you're not sharing things, with her, and she wants to leave you. Would you be happy if you really truly love this girl?
If it's a deal breaker and she lets me know this is a deal breaker,
Yeah.
if it's a relationship that I'm invested in, that I want,
You will share.
I will
things
do
with
my
her.
best
to
as
share.
possible to share as much
You
as
see?
possible.
No, that's where communication.
No,
that's
that's
communication,
communication.
yeah.
That's
That's
communication.
communication.
That's
Even if I'm a
compromise
person
point.
that sometimes some things, like there are some things that could happen to me, and to me there's no point for me sharing all of this, because if I share it, the person might just tell me, sorry. That's so. There's no point for me sharing that much, or the person might maybe try to like be caring and all of that. But for me, I'm able to maybe take care of myself.
But that,
Right
see, it's okay.
now, if she wants that, okay, you know what, I want you to share.
We're
much
equal.
with
You
me
need
and
to tell
stuff
me
like
everything. Yes.
obviously, I'm gonna, because it's something that I know.
You see?
It's something that she
I know what
knows.
has a resume of
It's
this part.
communication.
So
and
then
I
we
will
should
do
have
that.
one.
Obviously.
Can we conclude
Yes,
by
okay.
saying that even though your deal breaker,
Mm.
in some situation you can compromise?
Yes.
Can we also conclude by
No,
saying
I
that
cannot conclude
No,
that.
a deal
A
breaker
deal
is still
breaker is a
something
deal
that you're not
breaker.
supposed to compromise.
Yeah, you're not supposed to. It's something that you're not.
That's what. No, I don't think it's
No,
something
we
you
are
need to
talking
compromise
about
on. But
a
it's something
marriage.
that for you,
In
it
marriage.
might be a deal breaker. For me, it's not a deal breaker.
In marriage,
So
they
that's
always
just
say it's better for worse. That means that your deal breaker. If you're in marriage, you
It was-
understand that your deal breaker, they will mash on.
Let's be honest. There are people,
First of
there
all,
are
you
people-
expect
no. Let's
when
be
you
honest.
expect the mess up, that's when you get the good.
No, there are people who in marriage, they are not enjoying the marriage because their deal breakers have been trampled on. But because
It's
they are
true.
believing in for better for worse, they are sitting in there in that marriage and they are not enjoying it. Now,
Sorry,
we can
I'm going
sit
to
and
read,
say-
I'm going to read
yes.
this thing.
What did you type for
Can
you
you
to get it?
compromise your deal breaker in relationship? Yes, while deal breakers are important for setting boundaries, some can be navigated through compromise. However, it's crucial to distinguish between flexibility and compromising on core values. If a deal breaker stems from a core value, it's generally not advisable to compromise, as that can lead to resentment and an unhealthy relationship dynamic. Which is what we're saying.
Which is this you just said, that just it goes back to my point, right? If you listen to the last line she said that, I don't feel remember the grammar again. Which
Resentment,
if you listen to that man, that's why I said if you deal with someone for years, there has not been any issue. Something can't happen, and if they're among your deal
You
breaker,
can't just say.
you know, if you just say, man,
no,
go.
Again, that's why
Did you
you hear what you
hear
hear
the last line? I feel like they don't hear my last
You
line.
don't hear that.
I
When
want
you
to
say,
They don't hear
what
the last line.
core,
They don't hear the last line.
Like,
you
core
get-
value,
you
core
know-
value.
you
No,
understand
the
what
last
I mean by
line
core value
said
and the
resentment
flexibility.
and unhealthy relationship. It said as that can lead to resentment and unhealthy relationship.
Because
So-
they literally just explained it.
If
There's something
I
like
stay
core
with
value
you
and
after
there's
you
something like
don't break the
flexibility.
Yes.
deal, that means I will be hating you.
Yes.
The relationship will just become unhealthy,
Okay.
very toxic.
Let's take for example core values and flexibility. This man likes to press his toothpick from the middle. They taught me from my home that I press my middle from the bottom. You
Some people go
understand?
piss for toilet
That
seat.
is not a core value for me.
Or
That
pissing on
is
toilet
flexibility.
seats.
Yes.
At some point,
That's not core
I first of
value.
all, first and foremost, I used to like I press it. If we press for middle, I will come. I will make sure everything has gone. The next day, he has pressed for middle again. But because that is not a core value, it's
So what is the core value? Just give us one core value now.
A core value is the day a man hits me, I'm out.
Thank you.
I'm not even going to sit down and say, okay, let us discuss why did it happen in the first place. It means it will happen tomorrow. Because if I do that same thing again,
So
or
whenever
something
it
close
almost
to
10
it again,
years.
it doesn't matter.
there is, you know, the
It
person,
doesn't matter.
the
One
person
thing,
who
one thing
wrote-
I
the
said,
person who wrote-
one thing I said when I was dating was, any man that touches me, I've never seen my father raise his hand on my mom. Any man that touches me, I am out. And that has always been it for me. And by the grace of God, I never had anybody that actually physically hits me, right? But
No, I want you to
that-
now. Oh yeah, leave us. I don't physically hit you now. Hit us.
So for me, that's
Yeah,
a core
actually.
value. That's something I owe in high esteem. Like if you do that, I'm out. It's not about whether you bring food from microwave, you did not close the microwave. I will
Those
close
are
it,
not
no
core
problem.
values.
Those are not core. Those are something we can all both be flexible about. So yeah.
Thank you for actually saying that. I don't want. If I go more, I will go long for you.
All right, guys.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
I'll come back to
Thank
this
you for
conversation,
everything.
right?
St. Henry's Clinic.
I remember.
Should remember.
Lifestyle with Nachi.
Not be sporty though. Wahala day.
See you in the next one.
Check us on the news.